welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hilogadia. We have with us Dr. Ramesh Kancharla, Chairman and Managing Director at Rainbow Children's Hospital, joining in. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kancharla, and a pleasure to speak to you as well. Clearly, you know, from the name suggests itself as well, a good history that you have in terms of treating children over the last 18 to 20 years already, and already setting benchmarks in the respective field. Firstly, congratulations on achieving this milestone of coming out with an IPO. If you could just help our investors know more details of the IPO firstly.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. So,
yeah.
Rainbow. Sorry, you want to talk about Rainbow?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, Rainbow Children's Hospital is a specialty children's hospital. It's a multi-specialty pediatric children's hospital. And also we do the obstetrics, which is deliveries as well. So it's a larger format of maternal and child health. So with a more focus on children's health care. So we have nurtured over a period of 20 years time. Today we built out the over 1,500 beds across 6 cities in 14 centers. So what we kind of believed is that now children definitely need an intensive care services when they fall sick. And our philosophy is kind of more like a concept of a children's hospital, more like a developed countries where how they have built a children's hospital. So very similar concept which we brought in and done it. Because I was in England and I worked in one of the best children's hospital in London, Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. So I was very clear what I was doing. So concept of children's healthcare which we matured with a full-time doctor engagement model, and also with a commitment of coverage of 24/7 to save the sick babies and children, and also build specialties. So we nurtured and built over a period of 20 years time, and it's been very, very successful. And also what we believe in is children's hospital and hub and spoke model is something which evolved as a kind of the way forward, the model for covering a larger part of the cities. The Indian cities are very large, so the travel distances and also time it takes to come for emergencies, it takes pretty long time. So therefore, we are reachable in the city at multiple, being in a multiple with the multiple centers and improve the access to our hospitals. So that resulted in a huge reputation for us in Hyderabad city. Very similarly, the hub and spoke model is going in Bangalore. It's tracking very well. So we are in Chennai, Vijayawada, and New Delhi. So we would like to establish this successful hub and spoke model in all these cities and focus on multi-specialty children's offerings plus obstetrics.
Right. So with all these details, if you can also let us know in terms of, you know, how much funds are we looking to raise, what's the price band, and what is the utilization expected to look like?
Okay, so we have a 280 crores which are going to be raised to the primary. These proceeds are going to be utilized for the expansions. 170 crores are going to go for expansions in the hub and spoke model in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, as well as NCR. So the expansions plus medical capex. We have about the 40 crores of debt from the CDC, which is our investors, which is going to be repaid through the net proceeds. And the rest of the money is for general corporate purposes. And we have money on the balance sheet, about 200 crores of money. So we're comfortable in doing all the expansions without going for any debt. We are committed to do about 500 beds in next 3 years time. So most of the beds, almost 70% are going to go into the hub and spoke model where we are already present. We are doing well.
Right. So that's with regards to where utilization of funds go. So clearly, some portion of it, yes, will go through the OFS to the selling shareholders, and some portion of it will be with regards to where expansion plans go. Now, clearly, in terms of where expansion is concerned as well, If you see, I think as of now, we have around 14 hospitals and 3 clinics in 6 cities in India. And as you mentioned, the total bed capacity of 1,500 beds. What geographies do we specialize in right now?
Geographies?
Which geographies of India do we have presence?
Okay, so I think our presence is very strongly in Hyderabad city. So we are about 730 beds in Hyderabad, 2 more spokes. In Bangalore, we have 3 hospitals, about 350 beds. We are going to add 2 more centers in Bangalore. Chennai, we have 1 hub hospital. We have done extremely well in Chennai. In the second year, we repeat a positive. Third year, we are now currently, we are tracking about, we've done about 25% EBITDA. So therefore, Chennai needs more spokes. So we are looking at, we have been in operation in New Delhi, South Delhi last 4 years' time. So we are going to get NCR as a larger cluster to expand in Gurgaon and Noida.
Right. And overall, with this expansion plan as well, you've mentioned what we're looking at in terms of expansion. How does it impact our financials? Because we have seen good growth in terms of FY21 already. And the first 9 months ended of FY22 as well. So clearly, are we expecting the same growth trajectory to continue in the coming quarters as well? Or do you think it'll be much better taking the expansion plans into consideration?
I think we have been always adding beds. For the last 4-5 years, we have been adding 150 to 170 beds, an average per year. So moving forward, we are probably adding about 200 plus beds in the next 3 years' time. So that number of beds addition is not going to be very significant. The second important is that we are adding these beds in the geographies where we are already kind of strongly present. For example, in Hyderabad city, if we are doing 2 more centers, we are doing it for demand. So they are obviously going to be kind of profitable very quickly. Very similarly, Bangalore and Chennai wouldn't take much time for us to kind of be profitable. So therefore, that all these expansions are going to be taken care, are going to come in the areas where we are already present, where there is a certain degree of predictability that these are going to kind of break even fairly quickly.
Right. And in terms of specialization as well right now, where does our specialization lie? Because clearly I know it's pediatric, but there is oncology, there is neurology, there is orthopedics, a lot of other streams as well. So where is it where we are focusing on?
We are a multi-specialty pediatric hospitals. What we practice is we don't compete with the pediatricians who does office practice. We are a hospital-based healthcare model. We do a primary, secondary care. We do large intensive care services like newborn intensive cares, pediatric intensive cares. 1/3 of our beds are in intensive care services. For 54 out of 1,500 beds, 500 beds are in intensive care services. It's very large services we do it. We focus on all the pediatric specialties, like I myself, pediatric gastroenterologist, like a neurology, nephrology, all the specialties. Like in adult, we do all the specialties for children. That's our core strengths of our Rainbow. And also we do organ transplants. In Hyderabad, we do liver transplants, we do renal transplants, we do bone marrow transplants. Moving forward, what we would like to do is that the similar capability to build in Bangalore, Chennai, and New Delhi in the next 3 to 4 years' time. So to bring the maturity of Hyderabad into other cities also. And also in the main hub centers. Usually we work in a hub and spoke model. Hub will be about larger one, 150 to 200 beds, around 200 beds. Spokes will be about 50 to 75 beds. Spokes does more of emergencies, deliveries, the secondary pediatric care, emergency care, all those things. Hubs will do all the specialty care for children, all the children with multi-specialties, large intensive cares, complex offerings, transplants, high-risk pregnancies, all those things we take care in the hub. So that's how we distribute between the hub and spoke.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of where overall, business is concerned as well, clearly, where do we stand in terms of competition?
So there is no clear like competitive hospital group in this country. And both in terms of model, our model is a completely full-time hospital model, like in the Western, but in US and UK. And also, no one has actually replicated to a hub and spoke model in this country. There are few standalone hospitals out there which are smaller in size, not much of offerings they do it. They do probably pediatrics and NICU care. So when it comes to the obstetrics, so obstetrics as a specialty, we do it as a high-risk pregnancy perinatal care. So in that area, there is a competition in the form of a boutique centers, like all the maternal boutique centers, like the Cradles, Cloud9s, Motherhoods. Their focus is mainly on the delivery side. So they are there across the country, and we do see that some competition in that area. But otherwise, as a children's space, we are more like a kind of a pilot project.
Right. And overall, with all of this said and done, clearly, what's the key milestone we're looking to cross in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the next 3 to 5 years time, add the 500 more beds and try to drive a maturity of our services. Like as I said, build Bangalore as a proper multi-speciality, offer quaternary care services. Similarly in Chennai, New Delhi, that's one important agenda for us to do it. Next thing is make it more hub and spoke model, mature them, and cover larger part of the cities, all these 4 cities. And other important thing is to kind of offer our specialty services, market it for the rest of the country, because there are not many children's hospitals which are like a referral centers. We want to be a referral center for the pediatric serious illnesses, specialties, and the transplants. And also, we would like to kind of engage ourselves to kind of connect with the Indian neighborhood countries, the pediatricians, for the digital consultations, as well as kind of some of the patients who require to come in for the complex surgical treatments and medical treatments. This is how we envisage ourselves to growth. And also we have something in Northeast is something which we are envisaging to do a hospital, because a lot of children comes from Northeast across various parts of the country for the medical treatment. We would like to be there to kind of offer the treatments for children as a multi-specialty. And also that will drive a more kind of a traffic also to our hospitals, like in Bangalore, Chennai, and New Delhi, for specialty treatments, because Northeast, at the moment, they are coming all over the country to multiple hospitals for medical treatments.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of the average revenue per bed, what does that look like?
Average revenue per bed?
Yeah, per occupied bed per day.
Okay. Our ARPOB, average revenue per occupied per bed per day, is about 45,000. That's probably one of the industry highest. We are closer to the some of the top hospitals. That our ARPOBs are pretty good because of the 3 reasons. One is we have a large outpatient services which generates almost 30% of our revenue. And the second important thing is we do a large number of deliveries, almost 13,000+ deliveries we do it. So their deliveries gives a significant ARPOB. And third is that 1/3 of our beds are intensive care services, like a newborn intensive care and pediatric intensive care. Again, they generate significant revenue per bed per day, bed per day. All put together, it's a superior case mix. Put together gives us a 45,000 average revenue per occupied bed. So that's something very, very healthy. even at the kind of occupancy is 30%, we will be able to kind of break even. So, and also one important thing is that we do not, there's not much of a government business, unlike multi-specialties, which is why you see that our occupancies are about in the best year of in 2020 about 56%. So in a growing stage, we expect it to be kind of 55 to 60% of occupancies. That's because of two reasons. We do not do much of government business. It's mostly insurance, private insurance, plus out of cash payments, and very, very insignificant government business. Which is why that multi-specialties get about 15, even 20, 25% of government business. That fills up the beds. Second thing is that we have a differential areas in pediatric hospitals. Like we can't keep a child in the newborn intensive care. We can't keep a woman in the pediatric intensive care. So we have differential areas. And also we have some seasonality also, because usually Q1 will be holidays at time, because May is holidays. Cities get vacant, and the Q4 is exams time. So the 2-3 months of occupancies will go down. It's like a bell curve. But the Q2 and Q3 will be extremely busy all over hospitals. So with the patients and all. That's how the business is. Is quite different from a multi-specialty, because in emergency-based specialty, we get even more admissions in the night rather than day, which is why we are more of 24/7 hospitals than actually daytime hospitals. So our doctor commitments are 24 hours, which is the reason all our doctors are full-time doctors who do not have any other engagements. And they all have a night on-call commitments to stay in the hospital. So this is a very different mode of operandi for, when it comes to pediatric hospitals.
Right. And then overall, if you see from a business perspective as well, if you have to look at, I know you said there's no clear competition, but especially, in terms of Bangalore, Delhi, and Chennai, how do you actually plan to get brand recognition going?
I think for us, the most important recognition is word of mouth. So we deal with digitally native patients. Most of our patients are the young people, either young mothers or children, parents of is about 20 to 45-year age group. They're all digitally savvy. Word of mouth is very, very strong, and also kind of that's how we build our reputation. I think whether we've seen in Hyderabad or Bangalore or even Chennai, and it's quality of the treatment, something which people talk about it, and the recommendations are very strong when it comes to the children's hospital.
Right. And very lastly, any key challenges that you see from here on which need to be considered?
I think, I don't really see major challenges. I think what's more important is that as long as we are very focused in children's healthcare without deviating ourselves, and continue to build more and more and strengthen the pediatric space, and also and build a more obstetrics, strengthen more high-risk deliveries focus. I won't expect any challenges, because it's a required, much needed healthcare, because young population today, there's a huge nuclearization of the families in this country today. And also most of the young parents have got insurances. So I don't see much of challenges, because the moving forward, the pediatric market, when you look at the industry, is growing at a 14% CAGR year on year. So there is a huge opportunity for children's healthcare, because we being a kind of a first mover, we always will have that advantage.
Absolutely, and there are great opportunities coming in terms of specialization as well. But thank you so much, Dr. Kancharla, for joining us on the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Good luck, for the IPO and the quarters as well. Looking forward to speak to you soon again, and take
Thanks
care
so
and
much.
stay safe.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.